MPskin's virtual staging feature allows you to stage images, icons, iframes, videos, as well as 3D objects inside your tour. With the 3D catalog, you can also choose from a large selection of furniture, allowing you to furnish, for example, an entire apartment. The virtual staging with videos, iframes, 3D upload, or our 3D furniture catalog is only included in the Pro plan. The staging of images and icons is already available with the basic plan. Let's get started. First, we navigate to the virtual staging editor. To place a new object inside our tour, we start by clicking on the green plus button. Now, our input mask opens up. We select the kind of object we want to place in our tour: an image, a video, an iframe, or a 3D object. Let's try it with a photo. Always make sure that you use the correct file type. As usual, you have the option of uploading one file for all languages or one file for each individual language. After uploading, we can set the visibility of our virtual staging object. For example, only inside, meaning only in the tour itself. Alternatively, you can also configure an object so that it is only visible inside the dollhouse. For example, to see the water of a swimming pool in the dollhouse view. We now place the image inside our tour with Insert. Afterwards, we adjust the position of our image using the colored arrows. To change the width, height, or size of the object, we click on Scale over here at the bottom, or press the V key on our keyboard. If we want to make our images look even more realistic, we can also give them a thickness by entering a value at the bottom right under Scaling at Z. Under Edit, we can also select a background color for the image. On the left side of the editor interface, we can see a list of all previously added virtual staging objects. By clicking on any of the listed items, we are teleported directly to the item, making it easier to find. On the right side of each object listing, there are 6 different buttons. Lock locks the object in the editor, making it unclickable. This is a useful setting for projects with lots of virtual staging content, avoiding accidentally clicking virtual staging objects that are already correctly positioned. Duplicate creates an exact copy of the item, including all click actions, visibility, and scaling. Useful, for example, to stage several chairs. Go to instantly moves you to the staged object. Smart Move selects the object and activates the Move mode, allowing users to freely place the object inside the space. Edit opens up the input mask and the settings for the selected item. Delete deletes the item. Next, let's try uploading a 3D object. We click on the green button again and select 3D Catalog. Now, our furniture catalog opens up. In the drop-down menu, we can choose from different categories. As soon as we have picked a piece of furniture, we click on Insert again and position it in our tour. We move our object to the desired position, just as we did before with our image, and adjust the size by using the Scale button. To rotate our piece of furniture in the right direction, we use the Rotate button at the bottom center. Pro tip: you can use the X, C, and V keys to quickly access the Move, Rotate, and Scaling tool. In the same way, we can also upload our own 3D objects, for example, an animated avatar. In this example, I have already uploaded an avatar and positioned it inside my tour. Now, Let's bring our avatar to life by clicking Edit in the list on the left. Our input mask opens up again. We first select Yes for object clickable, and then navigate to the Action tab. This allows us to assign an action to our 3D avatar, which will be played back to us when we click on our object inside the tour. As always, you will find the usual configuration options for languages and pop-ups in the various actions. Let's give our avatar a voice by uploading an audio file. By the way, virtual staging click actions are also great for gamification of a tour. Additionally, we can set an action glow in the virtual staging basic settings. This lets you choose whether your virtual staging object will light up when you move the cursor over it, if that virtual staging object contains a click action. This will draw the user's attention to the action. Virtual staging is also available for videos. Both regular and green screen videos are supported. However, please note that autoplay with sound is not supported for virtual staging videos. This is due to browser restrictions. Any video set to autoplay will always start muted, and this cannot be overridden. The recommended workaround is to disable autoplay, keep audio enabled, and instead trigger the video via sweep actions. This way, the video will start playing with sound as soon as the visitor reaches a defined area in the tour, ensuring both functionality and a more controlled user experience. In MPskin's lighting system, there are 3 different types of lights: ambient lights, point lights, and spotlights. To achieve the most natural result, I recommend first setting an ambient light and then adding several spotlights, point lights, or a combination of both. The ambient light provides the general base lighting for the scene, while spot and point lights are used to create more realistic and localized lighting, similar to how lamps or light sources behave in the real world. The ambient light affects all 3D objects in the tour equally. As a starting point, I usually recommend an intensity value between 10 and 15. The goal here is to not fully illuminate the scene, but to create a soft base light with enough brightness to clearly recognize the colors and textures of your 3D models. Once the ambient light is set, we can move on to fine-tuning the scene using spot and/or point lights. Both types of lights can be added just like regular virtual staging objects by clicking the large green plus button at the bottom of the editor. Neither spot nor point lights will appear as visible objects inside the final tour itself. They are only visible inside the virtual staging editor. Let's try using spotlights. Spotlights behave similarly to a flashlight or a stage spotlight. They project light in a conical shape and can be adjusted in terms of intensity, angle, and distance. Like other virtual staging elements, they can also be moved and rotated using the standard gizmos. After positioning the spotlight, you will notice thin red guidelines indicating the circumference of the light cone. These guidelines will update dynamically when changing the distance or angle settings. By default, the distance is set to infinity and the angle is set to 55 degrees. Once the distance and angle are reduced, the actual shape of the cone becomes much easier to visualize. I personally recommend setting the distance and angle first and adjusting the intensity last. In most cases, the distance should extend all the way down to the floor or to the bottom of the 3D objects you would like to illuminate. This becomes especially important later when working with shadows. Now, let's look at point lights. Point lights behave more like a classic light bulb. Unlike spotlights, they do not have an angle or distance. Instead, they emit light evenly in all directions. Because of this, they are generally simpler and faster to set up. Personally, I tend to prefer spotlights for most use cases, since they offer more precise control and usually produce more natural-looking results. However, point lights can still be very useful whenever a full 360-degree light source is needed. For both spot and point lights, custom colors can also be selected, allowing you to create colored lighting effects inside the tour. To achieve the desired final result, multiple lights usually need to be placed throughout all areas containing 3D objects. The exact number depends entirely on your scene and the overall look you want to create. Let's now move on to shadows. Shadows can only be cast by spot and point lights. Please keep in mind that rendering shadows is relatively resource intense. Especially on lower RAM devices such as mobile phones, excessive shadow usage can lead to slower loading times or loading issues. The overall shadow intensity can be adjusted in the bottom left corner below the ambient intensity slider. To allow a specific 3D object to cast shadows, the object itself first needs to have the Cast Shadow checkbox enabled. Next, the light source responsible for the shadow also needs to have Cast Shadow activated. Since both the object and the light source can independently enable or disable shadows, you have much more control over the final result and can avoid unwanted or overlapping double shadows. When using spotlights for shadows, it's important to remember that the distance and angle settings directly affect how the shadow is projected. This can also help solve issues such as shadows projecting through walls. When using point lights, shadows will generally be cast in all directions for all surrounding 3D objects. This can sometimes create unwanted additional shadows. For this reason, I generally recommend using spotlights when aiming for more realistic and controlled shadow behavior. The Always Facing User setting can be activated for any type of virtual staging object. When enabled, the object will automatically rotate to always face the viewer's current perspective. This is especially useful for 2D or flat objects such as images, icons, and videos, as it keeps them clearly visible from different angles. Instead of appearing thin or visually flat when viewed from the side, the object remains front-facing and easy to recognize at all times. When it comes to uploading 3D objects, MPskin currently allows GLB upload with a maximum of 50 megabytes size. In order for tours with lots of virtual staging content, especially GLB content, to run smoothly on all devices, all virtual staging files should be web optimized. In the case of GLBs, you can use our handy built-in compression feature. Users can choose between low and high compression for each 3D object, with different settings available for both desktop and mobile. Mobile devices in particular tend to have issues with lots of virtual staging content, as the device RAM easily gets overloaded. Note that iOS devices tend to be more affected by this than Android devices. This is due to iOS's strict RAM management. If you have a 3D model of your building, you can use virtual staging to place it on top of your dollhouse, giving your tour an even more realistic feel as well as showing the outside areas of the space. To create such a model, we recommend using drone video footage, which can be uploaded to platforms like RealityScan. Don't forget to optimize your Dollhouse models, as they tend to be rather large. Also, be sure to set the 3D model to non-clickable. This will allow your tour visitors to click themselves inside the Matterport tour when using Dollhouse mode. Another useful option in virtual staging is the possibility to work with iframes. This allows you to embed external content directly inside your staged experience, instead of only showing static visual elements. Depending on your project, this can be a great way to display additional information, interactive content, or other web-based elements right inside the tour. To do this, all we need to do is select iframe in the virtual staging editor input mask and paste our link in the corresponding field. The resulting iframe object can also be scaled to match the website you're looking to display. Please note that iframes can also heavily impact mobile performance of the tour, depending on the embedded website content. Instead of using a web link for an iframe, users can also create their own embeds. Simply paste your HTML code into the corresponding input field. This enables the creation of interactive quizzes, forms, or other types of highly customized content, but it does require some coding knowledge or the help of a developer. Once we are fully done staging our tour, we can use the filters in the Virtual Staging tab overview to easily filter for specific staged objects. You can also use the Quick Edit button to edit all your objects, for example, to configure the different compression levels. By the way, the virtual staging objects are also visible in VR glasses or headsets.